let's kick it. I'm Patrick Moore with Pop Culture Kick, and I'm here with Michael Carroll from ESPN. How you doing, Michael?
Good. How are you, Patrick?
Pretty good. We're here today to talk about the Odyssey and maybe a little about the Avengers Doomsday trailer that dropped yesterday. Me and Michael saw the Odyssey in IMAX here in Houston at the same time, and we both enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time with the Odyssey. It's just it's incredible.
Yeah, since it dropped last Thursday, it's now up to 282 million at the box office, and I'm sure it's going to soar past that.
Yeah, by the time this releases, yeah, for sure. It's just continuing to gain money each and every day.
Yeah. It at 250 million, it's Chris Nolan's most expensive movie ever, which is saying something because that guy knows something about expensive budgets.
That's very true.
Yeah, I think him and the Russo brothers.
And James Cameron, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. And did you well, I was about to ask if you saw the Dune prologue, but no, we saw it together. When we
Mhm.
saw it, we didn't see any previews, right?
Right. Yeah. It just started right at whatever it was, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I guess it's at the IMAX 70 millimeter showings that people get to see a Dune Part 3 prologue
Oh, that's cool.
that yeah, people have been describing it as Saving Private Ryan in space, which sounds
Hmm.
intense.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Um, but no, we haven't gotten to see that. And then I took my father to see it in West Texas at a regular theater. And, we got regular previews like Spider-Man and stuff like that. But then we got a trailer for something called Other Mommy with
Oh,
Jessica
I've heard of
Chastain.
this. Yeah, I've
And
heard of this trailer.
and it's a horror movie and it caught me off guard because I thought we were just gonna see previews for other summer blockbusters, and this was like there's a big jump scare in that trailer that caught me off guard, and I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Why are we seeing this? But
Mhm.
also, why
Yeah.
didn't they call it Other Mother?
Good question.
But
That's a good question.
yeah, no. Anyway, the Odyssey is the way Chris Nolan talks about it is his magnum opus. But even though I loved it and just the effort and the production quality and just all the performances and all the care that went into it, I still think Oppenheimer is my favorite Nolan movie.
Yeah. I it's hard for me to I'm still like too close to it to say whether or not like I know my favorite still is Dark Knight just because that the cultural impact it had on me at the time and everything is my personal favorite. But I completely understand like in terms of what it was able to do, it's not like Oppenheimer, it's not like the Odyssey. Those are probably his for sure better films. But for me, just The Dark Knight's my favorite personally.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker.
Yeah, yeah, can't go wrong there. So, but
Yeah,
I mean, it. I know people have talked about ranking them and stuff like that. I'm still like, I don't know, man. I'm still too close to it to really like sit back and rank them as of now.
yeah, I understand. But it's kicking off this summer. And for the rest of the year, we've got such huge releases like Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday, whose trailer dropped yesterday, and Dune Part 3.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's shaping up to be a big year, and we already have Project Hail Mary in the rear view.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's been a great year for movies this year.
yeah. So the Odyssey, that cast, the ensemble cast is just unreal. Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, even Charlize Theron has a role in John Bernthal.
Yeah, John Leguizamo, Ryan Hurst, Samantha Morton, like the list goes on and on with this
Yeah.
movie.
John
Lupita
Leguizamo's
Nyong'o.
performance is as the blind shepherd
Hmm.
that's loyal to Odysseus after all those years. I thought
Hmm.
that's probably his best performance ever.
Yeah, I know others have said it, and he's just, I mean, phenomenal in this movie. I mean, this is a stellar, stellar cast that, in all fronts, I think delivered. Whether it is a John Leguizamo, whether it is a Lupita Nyong'o, whether it is a Elliot Page, or even Logan Marshall Green, who isn't in it a ton, and others who aren't in it a ton, but everyone did, I thought, a very, very good job. Obviously, others did better than some, but only because of screen time. You know, like I saw there was an article ranking the performances, and it's like I feel like that's kind of unfair to rank the performances just because like Samantha Morton has arguably the best scene of the entire movie. She's only in it for that one scene.
Yeah,
So the amount of screen time she gets is like maybe 5, 6 minutes, whatever it is. Maybe it's a little bit longer with that sequence, but still, like, there's so many people in this movie that it balances well, but at the same time, you expect like Mia Goth, she's in it. Doesn't
yeah.
doesn't really have a ton there, but that's okay. Like I still think she did phenomenal with what limited stuff she had to do. Same with Ryan Hurst; it's very limited, but still works. You know, most everybody. I just thought delivered in whatever they needed to do. They delivered for Nolan in this film.
Oh yeah, and Benny Safdie as Agamemnon.
Yeah. Doesn't even say anything really outside of like maybe one or two lines.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah,
that armor, that
yeah,
crazy, it's like looking at an ancient Greek Batman.
right. Yeah, exactly. It's just this menacing, foreboding, uh, like fixture throughout the course of the movie,
Yeah.
Benny nails it. Like that's he nailed the assignment.
Oh yeah. And the costume designer too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing about this. This is not just Christopher Nolan. This is like a nexus of all the different industries and the jobs of film set. All the artists behind the scenes are just operating at 100%.
yeah.
And
If you watch, there's like a little behind the scenes of the Odyssey on Peacock right now. It's like 22 minutes. It doesn't go into everything. Like it doesn't go into the Samantha Morton scene and a few other scenes, but like you see what that crew was doing and what they had to do to nail the realism of it, the grounded nature of it, even though it's still fantastical. It's just incredible. And I think you're right. It is like the perfect storm of all the different filmmaking jobs, production design, costume design, sound design, cinematography, just whatever you want to, acting, of course, writing, like all the different aspects were just firing on all cylinders, and it coalesced into something as incredible as this movie. It's a sight to behold, and something that is like I just remember thinking to myself, how did they do this? How did they do that? And then you throw in the music from Ludwig. I mean, it's just
yeah,
it's a true cinematic experience, like something that we haven't had too much of, at least
yeah.
on this level where everyone's firing off on all cylinders.
I think it's got Best Picture written all over it.
Yeah, yeah, has a very strong case to be that, and at least for now, probably the front runner for it.
Yeah. Although, with Denis Villeneuve finishing out his Dune trilogy,
True.
I wish he'd at least get a Best Director nomination, if not a win.
Yeah.
Just like Peter Jackson won Best Director for The Return of the King, the final Lord of the Rings uh chapter of that original trilogy. It would be cool. Uh,
Mhm.
but the Oscars haven't been that good to Dune. Although I mean it did get nominated for Best Picture for both previous entries, but he didn't get a Best Director nod.
Yeah. Well, we'll see with this year and what comes to pass for it.
Yeah, it's
So
gonna be a contentious year.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how all that shakes out.
And speaking of good years, I mean Tom Holland, Zendaya, and John Bernthal have this open last week, and then they have a Spider-Man movie opening a few
Yeah.
weeks later.
Like a week and a half. I mean, yeah, 2 weeks later at the time of release, and now at the time of this recording, we're just like a week and a half away from it. So
Yeah. Ooh, to have a career like that, you imagine.
I can't.
And
I can't imagine.
and not only that, I mean, Tom Holland's making movies with his wife.
Yeah. Again, can't imagine.
And I've read that he and John Bernthal are really good friends.
Yeah, it seems like it. Seems like it.
So yeah, no, I've seen Chris Nolan on, I guess I saw his interview on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and he says this is kind of a spiritual sequel, even though it's its own, obviously, Homeric text. But his film adaptation of the Odyssey is kind of a spiritual sequel in a way to Oppenheimer. And I think we can see that when Odysseus has that flashback to the sacking of Troy,
Hmm.
and he watches a civilization fall, and there's kind of that through line between him and Dr. Oppenheimer, who kind of ruminates after they drop the nuclear bomb that he helped create on Japan. And
Hmm.
then he has that conversation with Einstein about starting a chain reaction that he couldn't stop.
Right. Yeah. Once that is developed, it changes the course of human history, right? And with Odysseus in the Odyssey, once he comes up with the idea for the Trojan horse, and he gets them inside of Troy, and they do what they do. They've broken Zeus's law, and once you break that law, there's no going back, right? And with the sacking of Troy and seeing his reaction to seeing his realization as he walks through the city and all this chaos and just horrendous things are happening all around him, the realization of what he's done has really like smacked him in the face at that point. And it's such a like powerful moment just because of that. One, because of the way Matt Damon plays it. Two, because of the way Christopher Nolan and the cinematographer shot it. I'm blanking on the cinematographer's name right now, but the way they shot that scenario and just this slow realization as chaos and turmoil are unfolding, and you see like, oh no, what have I done? You know what I mean? Like I've opened up the Pandora's box on this, and there's no going back from it now, and it's really thrown things to bring things to an end, and how we treat people when they come to our kingdoms, and following Zeus's law, it's it's not going to be the case anymore, and he breaks it in that way, and it's a powerful moment, and how Christopher Nolan is able to weave the human empathy of it all, and the human story, the human element at the end of this fantastical story is really really cool to see, and really well executed.
Yeah, I think everything about this is well executed,
Hmm.
and Nolan's no stranger to thematic things popping back up in his work. Like Interstellar is all about a black hole and you know, trying to find a suitable planet, and one of them's orbiting a black hole. And at that time, Gargantua, the black hole depicted, was like the most realistic a black hole had ever been depicted on screen before. And then
Hmm.
there's kind of a throwaway line or conversation in Oppenheimer where he brings up his calculations, discovering what happens to a star when it dies and how black holes are formed. So it is pretty cool that Nolan does stuff like that, with movies that are basically completely disconnected, but as a director, he has that through line through them
Hmm.
as an
Yeah, he
art.
has a definite like style and arc and art to his presentation, right? Like once you see the Odyssey or once you see Oppenheimer, it's like, yeah, this is Nolan,
Yeah.
100%. No matter how crazy things are, there's a certain style that Nolan has that no other, at least to me, no other director currently just there's no other director currently doing it the way he does it. He just does it on obviously scale and everything, and scope is one thing, but the way he treats the human story and the balance of spectacle is just you either get one or the other with a lot of directors. You don't get both, and he knows how to do both so very very well.
I think he and Denis Villeneuve are my favorite directors currently working.
Yeah,
So to
they're
get two of their movies in the same year is nuts.
right. Yeah, it's a good year.
Yeah. And it's Hoyt van Hoytema is the cinematographer.
Yes, yeah.
And he did Oppenheimer, which he won an Oscar for.
Might very well win another one depending
Yeah,
on how this
seriously.
year goes.
Just yeah, everything about this movie screams Oscar time. Matt Damon as Odysseus is wonderful. I'm wondering if you think this might be his year for an Oscar. He's never won an acting Oscar before. Obviously, he won for the screenplay for Good Will Hunting.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, this feels like a strong year for him to take it, right? Like I don't know offhand who else will be nominated for Best Actor. The only other person I can think of off the top of my head would be Ryan Gosling, possibly for Project Hail Mary. I don't know if that would be the case, but right now, yeah, he feels like a definite like he's got to get a nom at the very least because that performance that he puts on, again, physicality and the emotion of it all
Mhm.
was so incredibly well done by him. He was one of certain people on the cast. While nobody did a bad job, it was hard not to see like certain people like, oh, that's just John Barenthal or whoever it may be. But like with Matt Damon, it really felt like that's Odysseus. Like I got lost in and forgot all about Matt Damon and was just seeing him as Odysseus. So with what he was able to do, he just did such a incredible job of giving that performance so much like life to it and grief at the same time. Again, that sequence where he's just walking through the crowd towards the end, it just hurts so much. Then you have the moment that he has with Athena when he's talking to Penelope, and he's telling his story, and it leads up to that moment where he's walking through Troy, and he just does little things, whether it's the reach out to Athena or just slowly trying to hold back emotion while he's talking to his wife, just different things like that. I mean, the sequence where he earlier on in the film is trying to figure out things how to deal with the Cyclops or running away from all the giants on that one island. Like there's just so many different elements to his performance that really worked. And of course the siren scene where he's just screaming. Uh,
Yeah.
and you don't hear it, but you feel it with his
Yeah.
performance. It's a really good performance by Matt.
Yeah. It's definitely one of his best. I think he'll definitely get nominated, if not win. But speaking of the Cyclops, that's the sequence that's making everyone say that Nolan's next movie should be a horror movie because there are some horror elements in this movie, and not just the Cyclops, but as you were saying, the scene with Samantha Morton as Cersei when
Hmm.
she turns Odysseus's crew into pigs. Just the way that shot made me so uncomfortable, and it's unsettling to look at, and it really goes to show you that Nolan might have the goods as a horror director.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he can do it all. Like that. And the way it's shot, it's all practical animatronics and clay, and just there is no need for CG. It's just angles and whatnot, and just Samantha Morton being doing what she's doing on screen to make it this real body horror moment in the movie that I was not expecting. I remember reading the Odyssey in high school, but I don't remember what all what all the story entailed, so I don't remember this part. But that was terrifying.
Yeah.
And yeah, he could definitely pull. I don't know that he would ever want to do it, but like this little tidbit was like, I could do it if I really want to. I could
Yeah.
show you what I could do. And Chris, you did.
Yeah, you really upped the ante with just the way you framed it and like you said, the body horror elements of it.
Yeah, it's truly like I remember sitting there when at the screening watching it and being like, just that physical cringe of like, oh, ugh, like as she's just bending these people's faces
Yeah,
and smoothing them out to become these pigs. Just ugh. Like it was, and then also even before that, when they're like mass eating as much as they are, and
yeah,
that was even horrifying and how they all played it. So I mean, it's a that scene specifically is a
yeah. They really,
true horror show.
yeah, they really nailed that scene. Just the grotesqueries of being a gluttonous human,
Yeah.
and she felt they were a threat to her. That's why she did that.
And consistently doing that, right? Because like
Yeah,
she has a bunch of shields and a bunch of armor in the backyard. I
yeah,
like how nobody was like, that's I'm sure that's fine. Or everybody was like that. Like, I'm sure that's fine.
yeah.
Maybe she's just a collector. We don't know.
She has a zoo on her little private island,
Yeah,
but.
exactly.
Yeah, that was one of the most memorable parts of an instant classic movie. So props to everyone who the sound design, the cinematography, Samantha Morton, and all the Odysseus's crew, the actors who played his crew. They really nailed that. That's a sequence a lot of people are talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure. One of the most talked about sequences,
Yeah.
hands down. I mean, it's just it's an incredible one to experience. And then I mean, like even like I still marvel at the whole Trojan horse scenario because that's a one, it's a giant horse that they actually manufactured and they had like 100 people pulling that thing. And then I think it was Matt Damon in an interview recently when they finally opened the gates of Troy and he has Benny Safdie as Agamemnon walking towards him, and I think he had said something to the effect of, I'm expecting 20 people to start running out. No, it's like a good 100, 400 people, whatever it is, just coming pouring into the city that they're sacking right now. And it's just stuff like that's just incredible. And I keep thinking about the giant scene. I don't know how to say the name. The name is like starts with an L for them.
Oh, the Lystragonians.
Them Lystragonians. I'm still like blown away by that sequence because just reading about it today, there are 7 foot stunt performers, and for certain parts of that sequence, they used 5 foot or lower people to. I think it was mainly 5 foot to showcase like the difference in height between Odysseus's men and them, and just how they're able to execute that, especially with so many of the different characters appearing on screen and how they're just smashing left and right Odysseus's men, tossing them through trees and stuff. It's just that's a phenomenal sequence. And the music for that sequence is insane.
Yeah. No, Ludwig knows what he's doing. The I can still hear the plucking of the bow.
Yeah, that's gonna be a memorable like sound effect a music note like beat. Like it's just incredible what they were able to do.
Yeah. And it just goes to show you making a film is a collaborative effort. It's not just the director with a camera. It's dozens or hundreds of people and sometimes thousands all
Possibly on
working.
this one, yeah, thousands. Like it's just
Yeah.
insane all the people like for the sequence. And again, this is me referencing the behind the scenes that's on the special that's on the on the Peacock on Peacock is there's wherever they went, I forget the name of the place where they went to do Ithaca, but they built onto an existing like castle structure, but to get up that hill, they would have to like helicopter in different pieces and stuff like that because the base, their home base, and where that castle was like 45 minutes away, and it's so steep that they couldn't necessarily just pull everything up. They had to helicopter in stuff. So just stuff like that's just insane to me how they were able to execute a lot of that.
Yeah. It's a huge undertaking, and I think it paid off. I think it's gonna make its money back and then some.
Yeah.
And you
Oh
were
yeah,
talking
for sure.
about Logan Marshall Green, and
Mhm.
that's another Spider-Man actor because he played the Shocker in Tom Holland's first Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. The
Oh
one,
yeah, he did, didn't he? I
yeah,
forgot all about that.
yeah, and a brief role because he gets vaporized by Michael Keaton's Vulture, and then Bokeem Woodbine takes over. But I read that Logan Marshall Green, his role was originally played by Cosmo Jarvis from Shogun, but he had
Yeah.
to drop out. And those two actors do look similar.
Yeah, they do.
So
Yeah, Cosmo would have been good for that role. I mean, I could see it, um, but it's also a role like I feel like you could also just get because it's not like it's a major speaking role either. It's
yeah,
like very like limited, but Logan, for what he did, he was able to do it. He did it very well.
yeah, dropping the weapons down through the hole in the ceiling
Yeah,
to the suitors. Not to give away too much, but it's the Odyssey. It's a 3,000-year-old text, so
right. Yeah, that's true.
but no, yeah, he was good. But obviously the casting director had someone in mind to go from Cosmo Jarvis to Logan Marshall Green.
Yeah, for sure. And I could see the look like they're trying to get for
Yeah.
that. It makes sense. So,
Yeah. But yeah, I read the Iliad and the Odyssey in high school, and that's when Troy came out, I think that same year, because Troy came out in 2004. So I would have just turned 15. So that's freshman year. That's when I read it.
mhm.
And, Troy may have made money, but it wasn't really critically w well received.
No, and I've been so annoyed with everyone bringing up Troy because like it's the disingenuous people online that are like, we had a Troy movie or whatever it is. Like, get out of here with that. Like,
Yeah.
that's
It
one
doesn't
thing,
it doesn't
but
even feature the gods.
yeah,
It's supposed to be a remake of the Iliad, and it doesn't even feature half the cast, you
yeah,
know?
it's a very silly like, come on now. Like that was a different time and we didn't know what we were missing out until we got here with the Odyssey. And yeah, this is incredible. That one, I mean, maybe for the time I remember watching it and being like, all right, that was it's fine. But people going to bat for it in 2026
Yeah.
is a wild decision.
Yeah. If you're looking for Greek sword and sandal combat movie, you might enjoy yourself, but it doesn't compare to the Odyssey.
No, in no way, shape, or form. Like it's a good film for its time, maybe, but like it's just this is operating on a whole different
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, this is like a symphony.
Yeah, or it'd be like if the Odyssey is Michael Jordan, Troy or yeah, the movie Troy would be like the eighth man off the bench or something like that. Like it's just not like you're just asking for trouble if you're trying to put the two against each other because Jordan's going to win every time.
Yeah. Well, it's just crazy what a creative powerhouse Christopher Nolan is.
Yeah,
Seems like everything he touches, he hasn't really had I mean, Tenet might have failed at the box office, but that's because of the pandemic, really.
yeah,
And Tenet kind of started the theme from Tenet to Oppenheimer to Odyssey of what world are we leaving as humans to the next generation, you know? Because
yeah. That's
Tenet
true.
is about trying to stop something happening in the future using that inversion technology. And then Oppenheimer, obviously, there's that Greek imagery. He's an American Prometheus. He
Mhm.
lifts the stone without being ready for the snake that's underneath it. I mean, that movie even starts with Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity, and for that, he was chained to a rock and tortured for eternity. And then the next movie he does is the Odyssey. I mean, it's almost like Tenet, Oppenheimer, and the Odyssey are a thematic trilogy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tenet for me is the one that I'm like it's fine, but like it's one of those. The technical achievements are incredible, but the story for me and some of the execution of it don't work nearly as well as his other movies. But that's just for me personally. I just remember watching that movie and being frustrated where I don't understand what they're saying. Someone please turn up the volume for everyone that's speaking or has dialogue. Because I remember being in a theater watching it and being confused as to what they were saying, especially early on in that film. I was just like, please, I need subtitles desperately
Yeah, that movie takes a couple rewatches.
for sure.
But yeah, I mean all of Nolan's movies kind of have that literary quality that, they hold up on rewatches and there's different angles, different things you can spot. Like
Mhm.
Oppenheimer, my favorite Nolan movie, I could watch right now and spot new stuff or new bits of dialogue or new new arcs, little mini arcs that aren't the big act one, act two, act three. There's
Hmm.
little tiny story bits that you notice. And I'm sure we'll be unloading this movie, The Odyssey, for years.
And it's also like Nolan's style is very easy to revisit because of that practicality of it all. It doesn't look dated. Like I could look at The Dark Knight still and be like, yeah, that's that's The Dark Knight. I could see that today and be fine with it. Like his movies, I can't remember everything off the top of my head, but like to me, the way he shoots makes movies age very well, and they're not like I don't know something like an early 2000s. I'm trying to think of an early 2000s movie that's comparable, but like something along those lines where it's like, I can see the green screen or this or that. The way he operates, it you don't see those seams nearly as much
Yeah.
as you do with others, like a Michael Bay or somebody like that.
Yeah, he's really a maestro.
Truly, truly.
I think he might be looking at another Oscar, which is good. I remember there was a time when I was like, are they ever going to give Christopher Nolan an Oscar? And now I'm wondering if they're going to give him a second one, which
He's
would be,
in the case for a lot of them, I would imagine, because
yeah.
of like best director, and then of course, like we mentioned, best picture, and then screenplay. Like there's a lot here that he could be up for.
Yeah, and production design,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. So yeah, The Odyssey is in theaters now. And then we've got you and I are seeing Spider-Man next Monday.
Yep.
Looking forward to that. It's starting to amp up in my feed on Twitter and Facebook.
Hmm.
So I'm glad we got into that. And then yeah, the Avengers Doomsday trailer dropped yesterday and I shared with you my thoughts on it. It's cool to see some of those actors back, that we haven't seen in a while, like Shang-Chi. Um, and I know Steve Rogers is back and he
Hmm.
gets to wield Mjolnir again, but this movie just lacks the buildup that Infinity War had. Infinity War had almost a decade of buildup from not exactly from the first Iron Man, but kind of, but definitely from the first Avengers movie where Thanos had that mid credits appearance.
Hmm.
And now we're just hopping to, I know Doom appeared in a mid or post credit appearance in the new Fantastic Four movie,
Hmm.
but he didn't say anything. And, we really don't know what he's all about. Like when Thanos became the central villain of Infinity War, we knew even before seeing the movie that he was searching for the six Infinity Stones. And now we just see Doom single-handedly toss Thor away, and we don't know how he got to be that powerful.
Hmm. Yeah, the multiverse saga has had its issues, but it was also going to be one that was like for me, the Infinity Saga was pretty like easy to follow in terms of like once Thanos is introduced, it's like okay, he's going to be going after Infinity Stones, and that's kind of his thing in the comics, and so it's easy to kind of grasp on like he's going to do this, he's going to do that, and it's he is the big bad. He's going to be a problem for the Avengers in this phase. Besides like COVID, besides like writer strikes, and they've had issues in terms of just getting something that like let me think how to say it. They've had issues, especially early on in these more recent phases, because of other factors with like Disney Plus. Like once they introduced that, they were like, just get everything on there, and they were just green lighting things left and right,
Yeah.
and it caused issues in that way because there were so many different threads. We didn't have a necessarily as uniform a thing to follow. And once we started getting that with Kang, then of course the whole thing with Jonathan Majors happens. And then on top of that, I don't know that people were going to be responding to it with the way Quantumania performed at the box office. And then plus the way Quantumania treated Kang. It just I don't I think that was a misjudgment on their end. They they misplayed Kang in that way, and they should have
Yeah.
done more to make him feel more menacing.
Yeah, I think
But now the oh, go ahead.
well, I just think the whole movie was a misfire because it
Yeah,
kind of took everything that worked about Ant-Man as its own sub franchise. The stakes are lower, it's more a comedy, a heist comedy, and then they just took everything and they're like, "Oh, let's make it more like an Avengers movie." I'm like, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
yeah, and it also just it's just not executed very well. Like especially like with the way things start out, it's basically the way the way things end. Like there's really no big changes or
Yeah.
anything. There's suggestions about, oh, this is different from the way that things end, and maybe Ant-Man is not in the same universe or whatever the case may be. But like it really never did enough to where I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna change the game for things, especially because that was the beginning of like phase 5 or something like that. So it was just it was a misfire, if you will. And
Yeah.
they've also changed strategies too, because Kevin Feige wanted, rather than have Avengers movies at the end of each phase, he wanted to have Avengers movies at the end of each saga. And I think that change maybe hurt them in the end. I think that might have been a misfire on his part because again, we had been trained for 10 years, 11 years that at the end of each phase we would get some Avengers team up at some point, and we're just not getting that. And those crumbs allowed us to follow that big buildup, and we just didn't have that same
Yeah.
uh, expectation with the more recent phases because they felt so disconnected. But then also the multiverse is just a harder concept and not as clear of a thing as to who's the bad guy, who's this. Really, the main thing from anything from phase 4 to phase 6 is the multiverse is breaking, something's going to happen. And this Doom that we're seeing in the trailer is either the one creating it or is the one trying to prevent it, but doing it in, of course, nefarious ways, or is tricking people into thinking he's trying to prevent it when it's actually he's doing it. And we see him with Franklin like you mentioned at the end of Fantastic Four. He may be, since we know what we know about Franklin based off what Galactus said about him, maybe he's using Franklin's powers in some way, hence why it brings Fantastic Four to the MCU's universe and kind of go from there. So we'll see how things play out. I do wonder if they are going to acknowledge Kang's in some way to where it's just like acknowledge him in the sense that the Doom just killed him or something like
Yeah.
that. Like I
I
wonder
think it's going to
if
be
we
a
go that
throwaway
route.
line.
Yeah.
Like, Kang was amassing power and I killed him easily.
Yeah.
They certainly won't have the actor back to
No, no.
depict that. So it'll have to be a line or something. But that's just another wound. This whole house of cards being built. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. It hasn't been a perfect phase, but I know I'm looking forward to it. Especially just because I'm curious how they're going to balance everything. And bringing in Doom, it'll be interesting to see how they lay the groundwork out for it and make it work. Because I imagine Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom is only for these two movies. I don't expect him to continue on.
yeah,
So is this going to be the Doom from the Fantastic Four's universe? Because there was that Latveria chair that was missing, like didn't have Victor Von Doom. So we'll see where they go from there.
yeah. But talk about two polar opposite movies. The Odyssey, $250 million practical movie, and then Avengers Doomsday, $250 million movie shot mostly in front of a green screen.
Yeah, or
But
probably in the volume or something like that. Yeah,
yeah. Disney's volume. But both have ensemble casts, and Russo brothers, like them or not, they're very successful when it comes to box office.
hmm
So, I'm sure it'll be a hit. I don't know if it'll be an in-game level hit. Oh, and they are re-releasing in-game with new footage apparently, which kind of
yeah.
feels like cheating, but they're trying
I'm
to.
curious how that'll do in the box office in September.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm willing to, as big of a Marvel guy as I used to be, I don't know if I'm willing to sit through a 3 hour movie that I've already seen a million times to see kind of footage cynically added to be like, see, we're going back and rewriting our work and building up Doom some more. It just, plus, I mean, there's a big thing, Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. I thought he was done with Marvel. So there's just a whole it's a whole cluster work of things that work for and against Doomsday. I'm sure it'll be successful. I'm sure some lessons will be learned, but I mean, it will be cool to see some of the older X-Men people again in a huge movie like this.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to see like Cyclops in the actual blue and yellow, or Mystique with an actually like good like comic look to her, and some of the different other ones. Like I'm excited for some of those actors because this, while it is going to be, different ones are probably going to die in this one. I do also think it's going to be a final send off for not just the Fox X-Men, but also some of our MCU characters that we've come to know. But certain ones, like of course the Fantastic Four, are going to continue on past Secret Wars. I feel like, same with like Shang-Chi and a few others. But it is going to be like a resetting of the deck, if you will, and not a like starting brand new, but starting a new phase where you are focused on the X-Men, you are focused on older Spider-Man and some of these other characters.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to that, seeing where they go from here.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
But yeah. Well, anyway, Michael, thanks for coming on and talking with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a great year for movies so far, and I think we still have a lot to look forward to. So,
Definitely. Looking forward to it as well.
all right, thanks, bud.
Thank you.